Now with Taco Bell's app, you can build.
Now it would do that, people. It really would do that. Y'all know how this thing go. Y'all know how we get it in. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the right introduction. We better than that. So unprofessional of me these days. I gotta be honest. I've been doing a lot of working and I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie with y'all. I'm tired. But I'm gonna get it together. This I promise you. So let's do this one more time. Reset. Let's get this intro right. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go, Pride Nation. What up, though? What's going on? Welcome back to another Field Review podcast show where we just going to talk all things Detroit.Lions football. It's just that simple. And today, if you're paying attention, you will see that I am with a subscriber because if you want to come on this show, this is one of those YouTube channels where I am not afraid to have a conversation with a person who agrees or disagrees with me. I will get you on to air that grievance out and have a little fun with it. But in today's case, our special guest today is one Mr. Motor City Thanos. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the show.
What up, though? What up, though? Thanks for having me once again.
Hey, listen, man. I'm always excited when people come on and want to talk some sports, man. So we obviously going to do that and get her done. So ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Don Burr immediately. Jesse James, Nick Williams, Danny Shelton don't need to be discussed. Yeah, hey, listen. I follow the money. The money tell me where it's at, man. I'm just saying, you know.
Sad part about Jesse James is I don't think a lot of this situation was his fault. You know,
not at all. Not at all.
He was completely underused under Patricia and them. Like they did not use him, which I don't understand. You pay this man money, bring him to the team, then don't use him. I don't understand that.
You know, I look at it like this. What you know, obviously, if people have not heard, Jesse James got cut, right? You know. Some more names coming down the line, but Jesse James got cut. And to me, it's obvious for a number of reasons. When you go through and you look at the Rams or the Saints, they really don't run a lot of two tight end sets. So that told me right there that there goes some milk, you know, some meat being shaved off at that point. And then on top of that, I looked at it and I said, okay, the amount of money they save is going to be the bigger thing. Now, Brandon Blackton says, what we going to do about the O-line problem we got? You think we can, the Chiefs 2 O-lineman players they cut? No, we don't need to. You can draft your offensive lineman. Why would you go out and get two guys who have already been pre-established?
The one issue I would have with picking them up anyways, I would be scared of the injuries.
Right, like Fisher, Eric Fisher has always been hurt. And the other one, Schwartz, he's had his fair share of injuries. And I think Schwartz has been on the Lions before, if I'm not mistaken. So, no, we can draft us a guy. Like, don't listen. The offensive line is not as bad as you think. We got 3 out of the 5. You're going to add one more, and you got some guys who can compete for that guard spot or that tackle spot. So, no, we'll be fine. But when you first heard that Jesse James got cut, the first thing you thought about was what, that we underutilized, because I thought that we underutilized them and that our offense is probably not going to use a lot of two tight end sets. But it's funny because the Lions brought him in to T.J. Hockenson and still didn't use a lot of two tight end sets. So
right. Well, for me, the first thing, like I said, it was my first thought was like, man, that sucks for Jesse James because he was underutilized. But the part that ticks me off is the storyline out there. Jesse James 2 failed seasons and all this other stuff. And I'm like, y'all making that sound like it was Jesse James' fault. Like, it definitely wasn't Jesse James' fault. He was underutilized, but they making it sound like he came to Detroit and he was just dropping more passes than Eric Ebron.
Right.
Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the blue pill narrative. When you got poor media who try to find ways to push a story with headlines and things that they think are going to catch the eye. It's part of the process. Fred Jackson says, you got to get me on next. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Discord, hit me up on Instagram, and you will get on. It's that simple. I try to get everybody on as fast as I can. It is a scheduling thing. If you up for it and you got the schedule for it, then I'm gonna get you on. Just that simple. So If you want to be on and you serious, hit me up on one of those. I will get you on. You can disagree with me from here to high heaven. It's all fun and games for me. We're just gonna talk a little sports anyway. But yeah, just hit me up. That's all. So let me ask you this, because now with them, basically trimming the fat and they're getting people off. We already know that Trufant is gone, Coleman gone, Jesse James gone. Let me see. I believe that people like Danny Shelton going to be forced to take a pay cut or be cut. And I believe Nick Williams, he's going to take a pay cut or be cut, because both of those guys get you $8 million right there. So,
right.
I don't see how we get around that. But what do you think? What do you think in terms of what the Lions have done so far, the new regime? What do you think so far about it?
Honestly, I'm loving this regime. I just loving it because it's not SOL. This is like the complete opposite of SOL. Everything that almost everything they've done so far, like there hasn't been any there's been some moves, a move or two maybe some people might not like, but there hasn't been any heavy head scratchers. Like, why did they do that? Like the extension for Christian Jones, the contract for Chase Daniels. Like, there hasn't been no moves like that. So I love what they're doing. I'm just hoping that when it boils down to it, when the season's about to start, that all that talk y'all did, it shows on the field at the end of the day. That's all I really want. I'm done being a fan that's all right, I want the high caliber, big name guy in free agency. I'm done with that. I know we'll get into free agency, so I'll dive more into my opinion on that when that time comes. But I'm loving what they're doing so far, because they're walking the walk as of right now. I know we still got free agency, we still got the draft, but as of right now, they talked the talk when they got here, and up to this point so far, they're walking the walk.
I mean, and to me, the biggest thing I'm noticing with them is this. You got to keep in perspective. Some of these cuts are coming down simply because of the Matthew Stafford trade. You took a $19 million cap hit to move the quarterback at his request, and you brought in another quarterback, and the cap went down almost $16 million. And so now you got a cap that went down almost $16 million, and what did you think was going to happen? Like, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? What was going to happen? And in my opinion, a lot of it was almost foretold in a way. But this is part of it. But to look at this new regime and look at it and say, I'm in love with him. I can't say I'm in love with him just yet. I ain't mad at him though. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, what I mean is I'm not saying I'm in love with him, but I'm saying I'm loving that it seems like they're trying to actually push the franchise in the right direction versus, the last regime, passing out the blue pills basically like drug dealers. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's what I mean. Because like I said, at the end of the day, what matters is what product they put on the field and what that product produces. So I can say what I'm saying right now, and then they go out there on the field and they suck, and it's like, no, this ain't gonna work. Right. Like, I'm gonna jump right on that. So I'm just saying, up to this point, I love that they're trying to work the money side of things, because as of right now, that's the best we can do, is try to get the money together. Now we're about to get ready to roll into free agency, where we can start looking at players. And then right after that, the draft, where we can start figuring out what young kids we're going to bring in to hopefully help the team. So we got to get into that part yet. But I like what they're trying to do.
And you should. And I think most Lions fans should. I think that, to me, any Lion fan who say that they're not excited about what they're seeing, you're jaded. You need to take a look in the mirror and self-reflect. But before we jump into the free agency, let me answer this question really quick. It says, Luke, I know you don't like Michigan players. It's not that I don't like Michigan players. That's not true. I go by the film, okay? I go by the film. Michigan players don't bother me. They don't. But like I love Charles Wilson. You ain't gonna tell me nothing about Charles Wilson. I remember when y'all had what's his name? A-Train. It'll come to me in a minute. When y'all had A-Train, I liked him too. I liked it, Braylon Edwards. I liked it, certain players that Michigan has had. But the film has to support the move. Now, if you telling me we can get a guy like Nico Collins, which is the wide receiver from Michigan, if you tell me we can get a guy like that and say the third round, where he says in the fifth or third. So if you're talking third of Anthony Thomas, thank you, James Taylor. I know it's one of them. I like him, but the film dictated it for me. If you tell me I can get Nico Collins in the fifth round, I'm happy. If you tell me I'm taking Nico Collins in the third round, it's too much talent in this draft for Nico Collins to be a third round pick for the Lions. Unfortunately, if you look at Nico,
so if you were to take him, not to cut you off, if you were to take him, would you be okay with him in the fourth, or is the fifth the earliest you would take that player?
The fifth is the earliest I would touch that player. Because I'll give you a perfect example, right? Last year, I was really high on Tyler out of Minnesota. And I still think Tyler is a better receiver than Nico. If you were to go through and look at all the receivers in this year's draft, Nico is not even in top 20. I can name 20 receivers that I believe are better than him. And so once you start going through that process, you just start to ask yourself, in talent-wise and based on the Lions' need, receiver is not that high for me to be taking them that high. I need somebody who's willing to come in and learn something. Now, if I'm taking a receiver high, I'm taking a talent that's going to be a generational talent or a transcending talent. But Nico Collins could be that. I'm just not sold on him as being that and taking him that high. That's just me. Could be wrong. Right. Dan says, love the new move. They will get a deep threat receiver in the first and rebuild the D next. I think they're going to take a receiver, but if it was me, I'd take an offensive lineman. But then again, Brad Holmes says everything is on the table. So ain't no telling how that go. So speaking of free agency, let's get into that a little bit because I know that this is an eyesore. Obviously, they're doing all this cutting. Do you think the Lions are gearing themselves up to get like a big name player in free agency?
I don't think so, and I actually hope not. And the funny thing is, in the beginning, I actually was. But if you try to look at it the right way, that wouldn't be the best move because if you try and go get a big name, then boom, there goes all your money. And so that's why I wrote down. I think that's why I wrote down. Like I said in my book, guys we can get for cheap that can still help the team. Agree. And they talked about themselves about bringing people in. I think Aaron Glenn might have mentioned this about bringing guys in on the defense specifically. And hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to shadow that guy right there. Nothing else. Hey, I want you to watch this guy right here. Nothing else. So if they actually are going to run that and you can bring people in for cheap and they're good enough to at least do that, I'm fine with that now because if we being honest with ourselves, we all know it's going to take more than 1 year to fix this team. The best you can do is try and fill as many holes as you can the first year around. And then whatever you didn't do this year, you're going to go do next year. So right now, fix the holes that you can fix and try to put a respectable product out year one. And then the next time around, whatever you didn't get fixed or whatever went wrong that you thought would be fixed, then you work on that. So my main thing is, no, I don't want you going getting no big names. I don't want you going out there getting the J.J. Watt and all those type of players. And, I know that sounds great to most people, but it's way too easy to want a player like that. But you get a J.J. Watt, who else you going to put on the line next to him? Who you gonna put behind him?
right. Who's a compliment player to a J.J. Watts? And then people don't understand that part of the game. Now, in the mix, shout out to him. He says, who you think is next on that cutting block? Surprisingly, I think it's going to come down to this guy right here, Nick Williams. I think Nick Williams is going to be the next person. I think they're going to do everything in their power to try to work around Danny Shelton. But if push comes to shove, Danny Shelton's going to be gone. So my two candidates for the next cuts coming down the line are Nick Williams and surprisingly the quarterback Chase Daniels. If they don't get that trade done, they're trimming the fat hands down. So that would be my next pick for it. But again, just based on the money, there are certain people I see are probably not going to make the cut. It's just it doesn't make sense. So just putting it out there, it is what it is. Now when I look
at Chase Daniels, I'm sorry when it comes to Chase Daniels. I'm taking all my, excuse me, sir, I need all my Lion stuff back. You're going to call him an Uber. You have a nice life. All right. Happy Thanksgiving.
You want all your Lions gear?
Yeah, I want all of it. Give it all back. I'm going to wash it and donate it to charity.
Right.
And the funny thing is I never focused on it that hard when we were going through it. But when I sat back this offseason and I'm looking like I actually with the Chase Daniels, I take that back. With Chase Daniels, I was highly upset because signing him made absolutely no sense. And I'm like, this dude was garbage. Why would you want him to be our backup quarterback? If Matthew Stafford goes down, it's a wrap. Like the only time this dude ever looked good when he played the Lions defense.
You know, that was people trying to be smart guys in the room. And again, it's not just them. You got to understand something. I keep trying to explain to our fan base that our voices are heard. I don't care what our fan base say. We're the consumers. And so anytime you are a consumer of something, that makes a difference. Don't believe me? Go and look at everything that happens in life. You look at the way that movies work. A lot of times, the best movies that get a lot of airtime, a lot of playing time, that be in there week in, week out, are the ones making money. Those ones that be trash or get a bad opening day, they scrap those immediately. I can't make money on garbage. And so, to me, we are the consumers, and the consumers wanted to keep a certain guy for 3 years because that's how long it takes to change culture, apparently, in our fan base eyes, not in mine. And that's what happened. Now, let me
I'm laughing at Go Lion. he said no Uber, just the escort of the premises. That's worse than me, man. You worse than me. You said you don't get an Uber, and you gonna escort him off the premises.
Dang.
All right, bro.
Like now you're gonna give him a fair pink slip. Just you walked in. Oh, you here, huh? Okay, I don't know why you showed up for this one, but okay. But like I said, it's those little things I look at. Now, in terms of getting back to the question on the free agency, I think the idea that the Lions are gearing up for a big player, because this is another thing that's being pushed through the media, that they're gearing up for a big name player. I think that's a load of baloney. Okay. Mm-hmm. To be honest, the Lions can sign just about anybody, and we as fans are going to call it a big player because we've been dealing with some trash on that side of the ball. If they go out and they sign Johnson at the safety position, we're going to be hyped about it, right? If they go out and they sign Jayon Brown, the linebacker from Tennessee, we're going to be hype about it, right? And we always hype about who comes to our team. We was hype about Justin Coleman. We was hype about Desmond Trufant. A lot of people was hype about Everson Griffin. A lot of these things are people that I'm just telling you my ass wasn't hyped about, okay? I was just like, okay, we got them, but what about this? And what about that? And Everson Griffin just infuriated me. I didn't understand why we was doing it. I really didn't. But again, we're going to be hyped about it. I don't think it's going to be a big splash. I think it's going to be more of a, like you said, a collection of guys, people who are going to be able to come together and make things happen. That's what I think is going to happen.
Right. Now that's what I want. Like I said again, I rather have. Well, we know all the holes we need to fill on defense, but instead of picking up a J.J. Watt, give me a solid pass rusher, a solid linebacker, and a solid corner or safety. I'll take that any day over just a J.J. Watt by himself. Because at least I worked on 3 areas where I need help versus just putting one big spot in one area. You know what I mean?
Right. The thing is this. People forget that this is the ultimate team sport. Look at this. A lot of those teams had those big name players. They didn't do nothing. This is a team sport. Like it just is what it is. And 9 times out of 10, what ends up happening is the team who comes together more are the ones who win.
Man, all you gotta do is look at teams like Buffalo. Look at Buffalo. Yep. I told my father this all the time. It ticks me off to no end to watch a team like Buffalo, who is pretty much just as bad as the Lions. Now they in the playoffs, and they giving teams like the Kansas City Chiefs a run for their money in the playoffs. And you go look at that roster from top to bottom. How many J.J. Watts and Deshaun Watsons you see over there? All right, like you don't see those big name players, but they got a collection of guys who do their job. And quiet as it's kept, if they had at least a star running back, they probably would have beat Kansas City. If they at least had a running back if they had a better running game than what they got. If they had
I was gonna say, actually, it wasn't even a running back wasn't the problem. They just stopped running the ball. This is what happened when you start going into this. Let me make the quarterback the hero, right? When you do that, let me make the quarterback the hero. You're going to run into 1,000 problems, and I think that's why with Kansas City, which to me, I'm still confused why they did this. I'm like, yo, you have an opportunity. you have an opportunity. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. You have an opportunity to really grow upon something, and if you don't do your due diligence, in supporting your talent, it's not going to work. And to me, in that Super Bowl, they did not support their talent.
No, I don't think they made they lacked the situation to really like completely flip the game. But to me, my opinion, also they did not make the proper adjustments to counter Tampa Bay. And it's like Tampa Bay is coming. Like I've never seen a quarterback run for his life that much in a Super Bowl. It was absolutely ridiculous. Like, and you see Tampa is taking away your game, which is the deep threat. So why are you still trying to make that happen? You still got Patrick Mahomes dropping way back, trying to throw bombs, and it's like you got to come up with another game plan. This game plan is not going to work. Like, it's not going to work. But then, like you said, they running game wasn't there. So that's another issue because they take the pass game away from you, and you can't even run the ball. Y'all pretty much screwed for the rest of the game.
Right.
And you're not making the adjustments on top of that. You're not trying to kill them in the short game. Everybody know when Tom Brady was on the Patriots, how did they do it? Death by 1,000 cuts. You don't want to give me the deep ball? Fine. I'll hit Edelman for 5. I'll hit Gronk for 7. And then they slowly but surely marching their way down the field, and it's a touchdown. So they just didn't plan properly, man. They kept trying to go for that deep ball crap, and it wasn't working. The Tampa Bay had that well scouted, and they just shut it down.
Well, like I said, we know what happened in that Super Bowl. But here we talk Detroit Lions. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. So let me go through here on some things. I saw a question from Delusional Lion fans, and he said, "So let me guess, do you want to tank top 10 pick?" No, not that one. It was the other one he asked about this one. If Campbell gets 7 wins, that's a great start. So it got me to thinking, what do you think would be a great start for this head coach if how many wins do you say, oh, that's a good start for him?
That goes so deep for me. But to try and give an answer, I'm gonna go worst case scenario on that. Worst case scenario. This season coming up, we doing the 17 games, right? Instead of the 16.
We're doing 17, that right? Yep.
Okay. So, worst case, I'm gonna say like 8 and 9 or something like that. And that's worst case. But like I know we only gonna be able to do so much, so I'm not gonna set the bar real high. And matter of fact, it's some success anyway. If you can come in and win more than 6 games, you already ahead of the game right there.
I mean, right. That was the best from the past one. Yeah, I mean, so and you took the words right out of my mouth. That's how I was gonna look at it. I'm like, look, bro, you come in and get 6 games, you already ahead of our previous range. But I think he's gonna get between 8 and 9. Call me crazy. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Worst case, I would say 8 and 9. Worst case. I actually believe he can do better than 8 and 9. If they put, like I said, if they put the players in position like they say they want to, if they get the talent, that's the one thing. Like when I've been in you guys' chat, that's the one thing I've been constantly trying to preach is they got to make sure they don't do like the last regime and skip over the talent.
Right.
You go get these bus boys because they are yes sir, whatever you want me to do, sir, player from New England, and they'll do whatever you say and they won't question you. But that don't mean they have the talent to make the play. You need guys that have the talent to make the play, because if they can't make the play, then guess what? You won't win football games. It's that simple.
Right. This is fact. Now, in the mix, ask the question: you think we should get the tight end from Tennessee? He a free agent? No, we're not. Listen, we're not finna run a lot of 2 tight end sets. We're just not finna do it. And so he's going to come at a different price tag. If you're going to do that, you might as well cap Jesse James. They're going to find the most. First of all, they brought in a tight end on a future contract for a tryout. So that's one. But 2, they're going to do a low budget backup, a guy who's willing to do the grunt work. They want somebody.
TJ going to be the guy.
Yeah, TJ is your primary tight end, and the guy who's going to be the backup is going to be a guy who's probably going to be meh at best, but is willing to do the grunt work. He wants to run down the field on kick return. He don't mind being a blocker on punt on punts and stuff. So I don't see them going out and spending that kind of money for that kind of tight end.
That's what I think. I think he's gonna be a guy that probably his best attribute is going to be blocking. That's just my opinion. Like,
right. Yeah, like I said, like they're looking for a guy who has one specific set and he's good at it. That's what they want. They be good at what that one thing is. Zach J says, Luke, who are the remaining players you want to see cut this offseason? It's not necessarily a list of players I want to see cut. I follow the money, right? That's what I do. I follow the money. The money tells me who's going to get cut. The one person I wanted cut is gone, and that was Christian Jones.
That's me. Yep. Yep. Well, Zach, I can answer your question at this point. It's Chase Daniels for me. I'm sorry. He got to get the hell up out of here. That's just where I am.
Right. I mean,
Chase Daniels, that's pretty much it. Like Lou said, Christian Jones will be the other, but he's already out of here. So for me, it's just Christian Jones and Chase Daniels. Once them two out of here, it's pretty much, like you said, get the guys that help the Cats.
Now, this right here I'm on board with, because obviously we talking about free agency. Brandon Blackton says, Lions need to get the wide receiver Davis from Tennessee. I have been high on Davis since he left college. I truly believe he reminds me a lot of Terrell Owens, and I think he just didn't get the fair shake. And if he gets a fair shake, he'll do it. What do you think? You think he's right? We got to go after that Corey Davis?
I think that would be one of our best possibilities, because I mean, who else are you gonna grab? You gonna go grab Juju? Like who else is out there for you to snatch up like that? Because to me, obviously we have no receiving core, so at the end of the day, you want to be able to grab enough guys between free agency and the draft. And me personally, I just want guys who can, number one, catch. You gotta be able to catch. Like, you gotta be able to make the play. You know what I'm saying? We don't need no more Eric Ebrons on this team. You got to be able to catch the football. The football come your way, you got to catch it. So for me, I at least want one guy, at least one guy that can take the top off the defense. That if people want to compare him to Tyreek Hill, then compare him to Tyreek Hill. But obviously, it's going to be a slim chance we get a Tyreek Hill. But I at least want that one speedy, twitchy guy that can take the top off. I think you need a mixture of receiver types, guys that's good in the slot, guys that can, big bodies go up and get the 50-50 balls, guys that can take the top off the defense with their speed. I think you need to have those guys lined across, and I think that gives you the best success, and that helps your quarterback out, especially with us having a guy like Jared Goff, who's a pocket passer. Like, I think if we need to find those type of guys between free agency and the draft, and for me, Corey Davis will probably be the one, because like I said in the beginning of the show, I'm not looking to go chase no top tier wide receiver. Not that I don't think that there's too many top tiers in free agency anyway. There's a lot of guys out there, but the guy in Tampa Bay got franchise tag, so we not getting him.
Another guy I wanted. He's another guy I wanted for the Lions really bad.
I remember you mentioning him.
Yep. I wanted him really bad. Sports Gamer says, do we know if we gave up a 5th or a 6th for Everson Griffin? I don't know what the final pick is going to be. I'm guessing it's a 6. He only played 6 games. He just wasn't impactful at all. He clearly has lost a step. And the only way you're going to get a full explosion of a rebirth from him is you got to put him around talent that allows him to do it. But my problem with him was he wasn't winning the one-on-one battles anymore. But if I had to guess, it's a 6th. Teams will offer the Lions for Chase Daniels 2 seconds. Let me tell you something, Jimbo G. Let me talk to you for a minute. This just me and you right now. Ain't nobody else here. We just, one brother to another. Let me just talk to you right now. If the Lions get that, I don't care if the Lions have a crappy year. They are fortituded at least to finish out their entire contract to get that deal done. If you get a 1st or any type of a 2nd for freaking Chase Daniels, you should go to jail. Like, either you, 1, drug the person, or 2, you got something on them and you're blackmailing them. I don't know. Whatever it is, if they could pull that off, I would be impressed. I'm
gonna say what Rick James said on Dave Chappelle: cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Listen. If they get, I've seen straight. I thought Stafford was gonna be worth no more than 3rd round pick, and the reason for that was because he asked for the trade, right? Like he asked for the trade. That's the part of it that went crazy. But after talking to Rams House, shout out to him, he made it clear that basically Brad Holmes played up and dialed in into the ego and emotions of McVay to convince them to trade Goff and to give up all that other stuff. And so that's where it got good at. So Galladay, Williams, Cephas. Galladay don't want to be here. The Galladay train is done. He don't want to be here.
That's a done deal.
Elijah Moore from Ole Miss. I need the number. Can't remember him like that. Need the number. Now this.
I've heard his name.
Tamari and Terry, Florida State, late round stud. I think he'll be gone maybe like the second or third round. He reminds me a lot of Anquan Bolden in a way. But I'll take that. It says it is a team out there that is willing to offer first and second and third for Chase. Daniel, call me crazy. I hope you're right. I'm not gonna call you crazy, but I hope you're right. We can get. He ain't gonna make it that far. I don't think he's gonna make that far. I think he'll probably get maybe fourth, maybe, but I don't fifth. I'll
probably see him going no further than I'll see him going past the third.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I don't see him dropping that far. Scary Terry. I see what you did there. Shout out if y'all didn't catch that. That's a Rick and Morty reference. The spinoff of a fake Freddy Krueger. Let's see. I'm keep going on the list. And while we're going to look at the different questions as they place it, let me go to the next gear of it. Because obviously we got to talk about the draft. And we would be doing ourselves a disservice to not mention, discuss, or at least view the draft. So my question to you is this. In looking at the NFL draft, what do you want the Lions to do at 7? And what do you think they will do at 7?
Ooh. I mean, here's the thing. Like, as far as I go with the will part first, the will part at this juncture of the offseason is such an unknown. And the reason why I say that because the free agency hasn't even started yet. So it's really, really tough to say. But I think this though, like the best answer I can give to that is if there are trade partners available, I see them trading down. If there's somebody down there that wants to come up for whatever player or whatever position they want, I see them trading down. That's also what I prefer for them to do. I prefer for them to trade down, get as many picks as you can get, because of the simple fact that we all know we got 1,000 holes in this team. This ship is sinking. All right, like you ain't got enough tape to cover these holes up. So that's what I want them to do. What I've been trying to do myself is, like how you mentioned in some previous shows, is if we're stuck at 7, what would I want the Lions to do?
Right. You know? Worst case scenario, we stuck there. So I'm not gonna lie, you kind of convinced me to your realm of thinking on that, because just to go back, my original thinking was like, I really don't care what they do at 7. If they want a wide receiver, that's fine, but you better make sure you get a guy who's gonna get out there and make plays, period. But then I started to listen to more and more of you guys. I started to lean more your way that, yeah, especially considering again that we got Jared Goff, it would make a lot of sense to get an offensive lineman. And what kind of made me confirm wanting to get an offensive lineman 100% is that possibly the Detroit Lions might be thinking the same exact thing when I found out that they had Slater's Pro Day. And I was like, okay. Just saying. It's the most sensible move to make, because if you're going to tell me that you want to run the ball with DeAndre Swift, then who's blocking for him? Right? Like, right. And ain't nobody mistaking DeAndre Swift for Barry. Right. So you got to get somebody to block to him. If you tell me you coming in with a quarterback who does really, really well under play action, we got to be able to set up blocks for that. And so to me, it just doesn't make sense. Now, One Prior 40 says, wouldn't that ruin the comp pick formula if we to get Davis? I don't do business based on comp picks, and I hope the Lions ain't either. Now I know the previous.
Honestly, I can care less about comp picks, man. I can care less about that, because
most of the times you get in those comp picks, and it's like, all right, cool, but I'm not worried about a comp pick. If it's ruined, it's ruined. Now to answer the question overall, I don't think it would, because the player has to be equal or better. I think that's how it works. And you're talking about Desmond Trufant, Jesse James. You're not gonna get one for Jesse James, but that's what you find in Coleman. You'll probably get one for them, and then Galladay. So you got options. I'm just saying.
Right.
Let me see. And no, not take it back because you're cutting those guys. So the other part of the rule is they have to just be lost in free agency because like you couldn't sign them. So yeah, no, I'm not worried about it.
Get to that. Going back to that 7th pick though. At the end of the day, what I want is I want the Lions to move down. But if you can't move down, I want the offensive lineman. So if Sewell isn't there, if he's gone already, which a lot of people is expecting him to be gone, then get Slater. That's where I am as of right now with the draft. Slater or Sewell, one of those two guys. Get one of those two.
Yeah, listen, I look at it like this. If you look at the way it's set up now, we got 3 linemen. You add one more lineman, and you essentially got the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. Like all 5 of their linemen weren't good. They had Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. It was some other bum. But he wasn't nobody to write home about. Then they end up sneaking up and getting Lyle Collins, and adding God, what's the other dude's name? I'm drawing a blank on his name. But they have 4 good offensive linemen, and they were balling with that. Zeke was running and eating, as they say, with that.
Right, and he was running and eating. Why? Because he was getting almost 5 yards before contact.
Right.
Before dudes even touched him.
Right. I mean, and that's where it boils down to. That's what it boils down to. You got to be able to see what the strengths in this draft. What are the strengths here? Those strengths are going to tell me everything I need to know. And so to me, it's a lot of receivers in this draft. You ain't got to worry about receiver. There's a lot of options at the safety spot, linebacker spot. So those spots that are highly loaded, you ain't got to panic on it. Right. You don't.
Like so to me, receiver for one.
Right, I'm saying, but to me, if you're stuck at 7, it's the only way we're doing it. We're taking out the ability to trade. We're taking out the ability to pick. If I'm sitting there right now, and I'm telling you right now, I'm taking the offensive lineman. I just am. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make sense to me not to do it.
Like you said, I feel the same way. You said before. I'm at the end of the day, I'm not gonna crush the Lions on any pick they make. Why? Because we need help everywhere. We need help. Right. I mean, yeah, we have our preferences of where we prefer for them to go. But let's just say worst case scenario. Okay, they go get a wide receiver at number 7. I don't like it, but I'm not gonna crush it. Why? Because we don't have a wide receiver core. You know what I mean? If you choose to get a running back, I don't like it. But, hey, maybe you think he a good running mate for Swift, so I'm not going to crush you for it. You know what I mean? We got a ton of holes, man. And as long as the guy you draft has talent, that's the number one thing for me, and I'm crossing my fingers for, is every guy they pick up has talent. And them first couple guys, I've been saying it the past couple of years, those first couple picks have to be starters. They have to be projects.
They have to
be started.
Unless it's a quarterback. That's the only caveat. If it's a quarterback, I'm okay with them sitting. But if it's not a quarterback, you got to be on this field. So when the moment we took Okudah, I said he got to be on the field. Like anybody outside of that, they're not on the field. What we doing here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, agreed. That's what I said. No projects, man. That's wasting picks.
Right.
You drafting projects, that's wasting picks. You want a project, draft them in the 6th round, the 7th round. That's where the projects come from. Like them first couple rounds, you got to get actual guys that can play.
Now, delusional Lion fans say, who we getting in the 2nd round? I have to build a profile up of our general manager and our people. Once I build that profile up, I can almost predict what they're going to do after the fact. With Quin, when I was able to predict that we were going tight end so early, like I did, was because I saw Quin's pattern. I see patterns, and so when I see patterns or a certain type of movement, I can then pick it up. Until they have the draft, I can't say, but I can tell you this: I can almost tell you based on how the draft go. There are about 5 scenarios I can come up in my head with for how the 1st and 2nd round would go. Probably will do a video about that. and I'll let you know then. But right now, I can't say who we're going to get in the second round because I got to also be able to understand who's all going to be had in the first. And it's going to be some people trading out of the first, i.e. Kansas City. right? Like it's going to be some teams trying to get out of the first because they're not going to have the money to pay these people. So
wait a minute, who's Jeremy Chin? I'm looking at buffed up.
Jeremy Chin is the safety / linebacker from the Panthers.
Oh, okay.
That's if I'm not mistaken, that's the guy from the Panthers. What about him? Somebody wanted to get him?
Buffed up said he would rather have him over DeAndre Swift. That's what I was reading.
Oh, okay. Listen, he won't defense. I ain't gonna kill him.
No, I'm not gonna knock you for that either. But like I said, whoever we get, you gotta be able to play.
Right, and that's the bottom line. If you're not coming here to play, I don't know what to tell you. What do you say to the people who feel like no matter what you have to take a quarterback in this draft? What do you say to those people?
I would tell them they need to get their life together first because that's no. I'm not doing that, man. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna say the Lions have to get anything at number 7. I'm not gonna say have to. Why? Because we have to have a running mate for DeAndre Swift. We have to have wide receivers, multiple wide receivers at that. We have to have defensive linemen. We have to have linebackers. We have to have corners. We have to have safeties. There's a lot of have to. So to sit there and pick one position and say have to, no, there's a lot of spots that we need to fill. Like to me, see, here's the thing. Like you mentioned this before, I think the people hear a name and they just fall in love with the name. And like the Trevor Lawrences and the Trey Lances and all them other guys. I'm not gonna sit there and we say we have to have any of those guys because as much as people love Trevor Lawrence, okay, we all assume Trevor Lawrence is gonna come into the league and be an all-star quarterback. There's no guarantee in that. As much as crazy as that sounds to people. No guarantee.
Ryan Leaf. Yeah. I hate to say this, and somebody's gonna be like, "You wrong for this," but Robert Griffin.
Yeah, we all assume that. We all assume that Trevor Lawrence is gonna come here and be great. Nobody knows. We go based off what they did in college. Nobody knows for a fact when any kid gets drafted by any team that he gonna come out there and he gonna be great. You assume that kid gonna be great. You take whatever evidence you pull up, whether it's work ethic, film, etc., and you say, all right, yeah, I think he gonna work. And sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. We assume that. We've seen a lot of people. I didn't think Carson Wentz and golf would be even as good as they are now. You know what I mean? But hey, it happens. So, but a quarterback, no. I'm starting to lean more towards not taking a quarterback right now.
It's not
like that. We can say 100% that this quarterback class is great. We can't say that.
Nope.
A lot of people lean in the other direction. A lot of people are saying it's not.
Detroit Drew in the building. He said, what's good, fellas? Hope all the peeps are having a good day. I am. Salute to you, sir. Hope you have one as well. Yeah, I think at this point when you are looking at this, you have to be able to understand that there's certain moves that make sense. If the Lions had a Cap Stafford, you 100% have to take a quarterback because at that point you are literally saying to yourself that I'm going to ride with him so I can prepare the future. Fine.
Right.
You didn't take a $19 million cap hit. Right? But the moment you trade him and took that $19 million cap hit, and then on top of that, you took Jared Goff because they could have been perfectly fine and just said, no, we want the 2 first. You figure out what to do with Jared Goff. No, they wanted Jared Goff. Like he was not no constellation add-in player. That told me right then and there that we was done. We were 100% done with the quarterback position. And to me, it makes sense. Xavier drops into coverage. Julian is an edge up. Wait till I do the Xavier Collins video. I think I'm gonna do that one live. I'm just putting the finishing touches on a few things and stuff. But yeah, wait till you see that one. When I get to the good, the bad, and the ugly, you're gonna be saying to yourself, "Okay, all right." And so I hope you still like it when I'm done. I'm not trying to knock the guy. I'm just showing you the truth.
I was listening to Jim's channel the other day. I
shout out to him, Lions on the Prowl.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. I've been listening to them a lot lately too at work. I want to. I think Mike Jones on there. They added Mike Jones to the show and everything. I was listening to them the other day debate about this whole rebuild, retool thing, and they were going back and forth on what they thought about that. I just want to just put a cap on it and say, can we just squash that, please? Because at the end of the day, you guys had talked about. I forgot who you all said it, but after hearing that, I wholeheartedly believe that you can't call anything a rebuild if it was never anything great there in the first place. Point blank, period. Like how many? We know our history. We already done said that we won a playoff game in how long? How many years has it been? So what was great? So you saying this? Okay, it's a rebuild. We just kicked out a regime that won how many games in 3 years? So what out of that are you rebuilding?
I got my butt handed to me. I got my butt every week in and week out. People still having faith. The faith went out the door. I want to say like week 4. Week 4, that's when everybody was like, fire him. I said, oh, now y'all want him fired. Okay. 9-20-21 wasn't enough. He need 3 years, but now you need to get him fired. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, no. Like, so just drop the whole rebuild thing. It's not a rebuild. Stop saying that, because again, if someone has to be there worth rebuilding, okay, you can't go to an open lot in a community and say, I'm gonna rebuild a house right here. It was never a house there in the first place. So how you gonna rebuild it?
Right. and I've been saying that for the longest, and people like it's a rebuild. I'm like, it's not. Like we never had nothing to rebuild in the first place. And I've been saying, and then on top of that, I've said this before too. I'm like, they're gonna go in, they're gonna cut some stuff in and cut some stuff out, and that's renovations, you know. So it's strange. To me, I don't see a rebuild. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, if they would have traded Stafford and said that we're drafting our quarterback, rebuild. If they would have said we're trading Stafford and we're going to get a free agent quarterback like Tyrod Taylor or Fitzpatrick, rebuild.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what my definition and idea of a rebuild is. A rebuild is, let's say hypothetically Matthew Stafford was here, the Detroit Lions went to the playoffs 4 years in a row. At least won a couple playoff games here and there, regardless of where we lost. All right. And then it just got to a point where we couldn't get into the playoffs after that, or we kept losing in the first round, we kept losing the wild card, and they go back and they drop some players and pick some new players up. That's rebuilding. Like, because something was there. They were getting deep into the playoffs at some point. They were winning playoff games. Like, that to me would be considered a rebuild, because something was already there. Now you're interchanging parts to make it better.
Right. And the goal was set. Like, this is one thing that I'm never going to kill. I'm never going to kill Bob Quin over, because to me, that is my standard. 9-7 is not good enough. It's not. It simply is not good enough. You have to be better than 9-7, because most of the time, especially in this division, you're going to need between 10 or 11 wins to make those playoffs and win a division. So 9-7 is not good enough. That still holds true for me.
Yeah. Also, on top of that, when you say 9-7 isn't good enough, and then you win 9 games in 3 years, somebody should be waiting outside for you to whoop your behind the minute you walk outside that stadium, because that don't make no damn sense. You can't say 9-7 ain't good enough, and then you have a coach that won 11 games 1 year and 9-7 2 times in a row, and then you bring a guy in that can't even get past 6.
I'm just
somebody
saying.
should have whooped your behind. Period. At the end of the day, y'all quote unquote the smartest men in the room. And this, I'm not gonna say anything else about Matty P, but the one thing I will say is I want to salute and tip my hat to Darius Slay. And I'm gonna try after this, I'm definitely gonna keep it clean. But had I been Darius Slay and Matty P talked to me like that, I'd have whooped his ass. I'm sorry, y'all kicking me off this team, because I'm definitely dropping this. You don't talk to grown men like that, man. Like that's
again, that's a lot of the problems, and that's why I said when you look at the new regime, you want to make sure that you look at it and say that there's a difference, and you should be able to see a difference. It's night and day with what was previously here and what's here now. Now I see they having a conversation there talking about dual threat quarterbacks. I don't think the Lions have an issue with dual dual threat quarterbacks. I think the average Lion fan want a dual threat quarterback. In fact, I think if you talk to any fan and you can name a dual threat quarterback, they will want them. My problem with dual threat quarterbacks is they're not like the dual threat quarterbacks I know and love, like a Russell Wilson, like a Warren Moon, like a let me think of somebody else out there, Aaron Rodgers. People forget that he's a dual threat quarterback. The thing that I'm pointing out with these guys that I like about them is they got to throw the ball first. Okay. The problem is with most of these dual threat quarterbacks, the Lamar Jacksons, the Michael Vicks, they run. They rely on their legs too much. It's one of the reasons that Trey Lance scared me, because I've watched some film and seen where receivers were open and he took off. And I'm thinking, what did you see? Like, obviously I get a bird eye view of it, but you the guy on the field, what did you see? He just took off and ran. And some of it was play design, but some of it was him just saying, I don't like that look, I'm going. It just don't make sense to me.
I'm a defensive guy anyway. I mean, I like points and touchdowns and long runs and long 30-yard passes and all that. I'm a defensive guy. I like sacks and quarterback hits and defenses getting back down to the 1-yard line and shutting them down on 4th and goal and all that. Like that's where I get the most excitement out of football. And as far as the dual threat thing, I don't have a problem with the Lions having a dual threat quarterback. That's all fine and well. But at the end of the day, can y'all run the football though? Because the dual threat stuff don't work if y'all ain't running the football well. Like that's how, like, if you got a dual threat quarterback, a guy that can run, he can't be the only runner on the team. Like you gotta have a running back that can run.
And that's the problem. And so, like I said, I don't want to keep the people too long. I don't know if y'all know, but my man, the Hood Cam is going live over there talking some football as well. And so I want to definitely check that out and spend some time with the family because it is on a Friday. So I don't want to keep y'all too long. So I guess I'll ask y'all to hit that like button for me if you have not, hit that notification bell if you have not, and we try to wrap this thing up. So what do you have for final thoughts, Motor City Thanos? What do you think? What do you have for those final thoughts for the people?
Well, okay. Well, my final thoughts is at the end of the day, like I said, the Lions, I just want this regime to focus on talent. Obviously, talent at a bargain price, because we don't have money to just be throwing at people, and that probably wouldn't be the smartest thing to do anyway, because obviously when you throw a lot of money at one position, you handicap yourself when it comes to the rest of the team. So you just go ahead and try to get what you can out of the draft. Like the patchwork should come from free agency. The future is obviously got to come from the draft. You can't fix the team with free agency. You fix the team with the draft.
Say that again. The patchwork got to come from free agency.
Yeah,
the future comes from the draft. I like that.
The future comes from the draft. That's how you fix team, and that's what any sport. Pistons too. That's how you fix the team. You need to do it with the draft, because we already get stiffed by people anyway, saying nobody wants to come to Detroit and blah blah blah. Well, how do you change that? You get the guys young. They come in. They perform. People see that the Lions are winning. Now free agents want to come here. So that's pretty much my final thoughts. Hopefully we turn this thing around sooner than later, so we all can cheer for our Lions in the playoffs and get some wins. One Pride.
100%. Now, One Pride 40 says, so what are your thoughts about the Lions going to Lance Pro Day? Good. Go to everybody Pro Day. I mean, why not? It's all virtual. It's all, I mean, like, yeah, go to every single one. If you're going to tell me that quarterback is still on the table, at least let me make like show it to a quarterback's pro day. Make me think that you are serious about it, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much just a somebody saying, hey man, look at that fine girl over there, and you go over and look like, okay, I see her. You didn't go asking for a number. You didn't go try to ask her out on a date. You just went over there and checked her out. I said, all right, at the end of the day, so I'm cool with it. If they go with Trey Lance, then whatever. But at the end of the day, the picks after that need to be fixing the team. Period.
And like I said, this is going to be a strange one for me. So let me get into my final thoughts. First of all, I appreciate you for coming on. Anybody else who ever want to join Frederick, simply hit me up. I will get you on. This I promise. I promise you this. So if you want to get on and come talk some Lions football, I am more than willing to get you on the show. You can hit me up either on Instagram, Twitter, or join my Discord and hit me up there. Today's positive quote comes from an unlikely source. One Mr. Aristotle, he says, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Damn, let me go back a little bit. Some of y'all missed that. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. You see, it's funny. People often go out and do things and they don't even know the why. The purpose is not there. The understanding for what the means was is not there. You can go out and learn everything you need to know about how to make money. But if your heart not really into it, if your heart not into understanding every end of it, this for those people who like to pray for rain but don't want to go out there and play in the mud. That's part of the process. You have to find a way to not only educate yourself in the mental part of it, but in the heart. To be ignorant is something that does not come from the brains, people. It comes from your soul and your spirit. See, what that is that's a person who is just refusing, just 100% refusing to accept the results for what they are. So my words of advice to you today, good people, is when you step out there today, do something different. Make sure that you don't just take it in with your brain, take it in with your heart. And when you do that, you will find that not only did you learn something, but you learned the best and most important part of any part of life. What you cannot feel does not exist. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I will be back at it again, talking some more Detroit Lions football. So much stuff going on these days. Nothing to do but to keep talking about it. But as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research. We are out.